Holy smokes, everyone. The Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets have just been rocked, and they've been rocked hard. In this video, I'm going to be going over the current cryptocurrency market crash. We all know that Elon Musk tweets and him saying or indicating that he sold all his Bitcoin of holdings through Tesla. But I'm also going to be going over the bigger picture, and I'm going to connect some dots from what the globalist elites, the IMF, the World Economic Forum, the Bank of International Settlements, and really all the globalist central banks and private corporations want with their renewable energy targets, and how this is going to affect Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, well, I'm sure you're all aware of what happened unless you've been living under a rock for the past 12 to 24 hours. Elon Musk has entered into a crazy tweet storm like he always does, and he has implied that Tesla has sold its Bitcoin. So it says here, his latest dust up with Bitcoin started with a tweet from a person using the handle @CryptoWhale, which said, Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out Tesla dumped the rest of their Bitcoin holding. With the amount of hate Elon Musk is getting, I wouldn't blame him. So it's very interesting that he chose to say indeed. So indeed, is he meaning that indeed he did sell all his Bitcoin, or indeed people should be angry at him, or indeed he is getting a lot of hate? But really, if you look at his latest tweets, which we'll get into in a minute, about how he's all of a sudden done a complete 180 on Bitcoin and changed his tune. Early in the start of the year, he was putting hashtag Bitcoin in his bio on Twitter. He was tweeting about how great it is. He was tweeting with other Bitcoin investors like Michael Saylor, figuring out how he can use Tesla to buy Bitcoin, and he was pumping it to the moon. But interesting, all those tweets came out after he already pumped Bitcoin. And then he sold some Bitcoin, and now he's putting out all these tweets, negative things about Bitcoin after he's already sold. So it's clear that he's manipulating the markets here, and this made me really lose a lot of respect for Elon Musk. So you can see here the tweet from Mr. Whale, where it bounced that, and then the reply from Elon Musk saying indeed. And it also says here, a move he said was sparked by environmental concerns over the power demands to process Bitcoin transactions. He said at the time that the company wouldn't be selling any Bitcoin it holds at that time, but maybe now the time he sold it. And what baffles me, and this is just really stupid, is Elon Musk isn't an idiot. He already knew about how much hash rate and how much power it took to mine Bitcoin before we brought it. But now all of a sudden he's done a 180 and saying, oh, it's really bad for the environment. Well, of course he already knew that before he bought it. So why all of a sudden is he changing his tune now? Is he getting orders from the board? Is he getting orders from higher up? Is he getting orders from investors to sell it? Who knows? His tweet here says, Bitcoin, we're concerned about the rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for mining Bitcoin and transactions, especially coal, which has been the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we do believe it has a promising future, but this cannot come at the great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to more sustainable energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy transaction. Well, obviously, like I said, he would have already knew this before he was buying, but is Elon Musk setting up his next play? And is he using this as an excuse to pump another cryptocurrency? Let's have a look. Well, just one of my suspicions here of what he's doing is, at the start of the year, the Bitcoin market cap was a lot smaller. So it was very easy to manipulate the price and to pump the price up or pump the price down. But since Bitcoin hit $1 trillion market cap, in order for him to move the market, say for example 10%, $100 billion would need to be pumped in to increase the market cap 10%. And same thing, if he wanted to drop the market cap, $100 billion would have to be taken out of the market. But now he's found a new cryptocurrency that can manipulate a lot easier and can have more crazy price action. And if he's got insiders trading this, he can make huge more profits to fund his mission to go to Mars. And of course, what cryptocurrency is that? Dogecoin. He's been pumping Doge and then putting out tweets saying, oh, maybe it's not good, or, maybe it's a bit risky, maybe you shouldn't put all your money. He's been pumping and dumping Doge because the market cap is only $60 billion. So when he puts out a tweet, his tweet has a lot more power over moving the Dogecoin market cap than Bitcoin. Because like I said, the market cap is only 60 billion. So all it takes for Doge to go up 10% is $6 billion to be invested, compared to Bitcoin, where it would take $100 billion for the market cap to increase 10%. And Elon Musk has also hinted he's looking at different ways to create his own cryptocurrency. And we all know if Elon Musk creates his own cryptocurrency, he would make billions and billions of dollars overnight, because there will be huge amounts of FOMO and huge amounts of hype and hopium that will go into his cryptocurrency that he creates. Also, what he could be doing, this is just some speculation here, is he could be going into other cryptocurrencies, like just for example, Cardano or ADA. They don't use mining for proof of work. They use something called proof of stake, where people stake their cryptocurrency, their ADA, and that helps support the network and helps transactions instead of mining. But okay, let's now get into the bigger picture of why I think Elon Musk was forced to sell Bitcoin, and why I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on governments and big corporations. They're going to be going out there and saying, look, we need to ban Bitcoin, we need to stop Bitcoin, we need to regulate Bitcoin because it's too dirty, it uses too much coal. And that is because of this. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, they're all talking about renewable energy. We need renewable energy, but it's not just them. Look at this. Also, the BIS, this is a Bank of International Settlements. They're the one that profit from all the central banks' transactions, and they're pretty much the central banker for the central banks. But instead of them being federal or government agencies, like some other central banks, even though the Federal Reserve isn't, they're a private organization. And they're now also coming out saying leveraging technology to support central banks' green finance agenda. That's right, central banks now have a green finance agenda. What the heck does finance have to do about global warming or climate change or green renewable energy? Well, something they could easily do is, on something they have stopped doing, is printing physical money. Now they can print digital dollars, so that saves the trees. That's all good. But it's very weird that we got people like the Federal Reserve and banks now all of a sudden talking about green renewable energy when they've got nothing to do with that. And I'm not saying it's bad that they're trying to go to renewable. I think it's good. I think we should try to help the environment, help the earth be more sustainable, and have better fuel efficient energy resources. But as long as they don't force this down people's throats, as long as they don't regulate everything to death, and as long as they don't make it crazy expensive and create all these huge crazy taxes to make the cost of living for the average Joes more unbearable. If they can do it cheaper and more efficient and more innovative, I'm all for that. But unfortunately, when all these big, huge global organizations start forcing an agenda down people's throats, it normally isn't for the best. And also this comes at a time when Tether has put out its first reserve breakdown and shows the token is 49% banked by unofficial commercial paper. So if you look at the breakdown here, most of its backings is coming from commercial paper. Now, this could just be junk corporate bonds that they issue. And this is obviously putting a lot more fear in the cryptocurrency markets, because if there is a huge Bitcoin crash and people go to take out all their Tether and they can't sell this commercial paper quickly enough, there could be a liquidity crisis in the cryptocurrency markets. And if we look here at the Bitcoin chart, the 1 year chart, we can kind of see a head and shoulders pattern kind of forming here. Again, I'm not a chartist expert. And also it did break the support level of $45,000 and $43,000. And the trend setting here, it doesn't look good. Now, we all know that there's been many crashes in crypto market bull runs. There's been 30-40% crashes and the bull market has continued. I'm not saying the bull market is over, but eventually it is going to be over. And what normally happens in the cryptocurrency markets, the way the cycle works, is there's something called a halving event. And that is when the reward for Bitcoin that's paid to miners that gets dropped in half. So that makes Bitcoin more scarce. Because instead of getting, for example, 9 Bitcoins, then after the halving, they only get 4 Bitcoins, become harder to mine, supply demand, the price will go up. But then normally after about 18 months after that halving event, we enter into a crypto bear market cycle. Now, the last halving event happened in May last year. That means we're due for a bear market between September and November, according to historic averages. Now, of course, history doesn't always predict the future, but something interesting that could happen this cycle is there's a lot of institutions which are now in the cryptocurrency markets. And institutions, they're not going to dump when everyone expects it to be dumping. They're going to start selling before the mainstream and before the retail investors start selling. I've heard a lot of crypto experts saying that we're going to enter in this bear market in September. So then that means the institutions may start selling now in May, June, and July. They may start dollar cost averaging out of their positions to try to beat the market. And that may actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy and bring the bear market forward. Now again, I could be wrong, but this is just my analysis here. And again, with the cryptocurrency market, it seems like when there's bad news, it doesn't rain, it pours. Now this could be price manipulation by the whales here, but more bad news, not just the Tether bad news, not just the Tesla bad news, there's also Binance is under investigation for money laundering. So we've seen like we're getting hit from all angles here with crypto, and we'll have a look at the precious metal markets. As of recording this, gold is up by about 0.5% and silver is up by 1%. So that's why I always say you don't just want to be all in one asset class. You need to diversify, because if crypto crashes, maybe precious metals may perform better. Also, same with tech stocks. If this cryptocurrency market does continue to sell and we do get a huge plummet in Bitcoin, say for example 50%, if we do enter into a true bear market, this could also have domino effects in the high growth tech sector, because there's a lot of retail investors in that sector as well, and they may have margin on their crypto because there's been huge amounts of margin created in the cryptocurrency markets, especially with these trading platforms that are letting people use 100x leverage. That's right, people are trading with 100x leverage. That may mean that they may need to sell some of their stocks to cover some of their margin or positions in Bitcoin. But again, something I'm very worried about is what would happen if these global elites like the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the BIS, and the US government, like Joe Biden, he's having a huge push for renewable energy. They could say Bitcoin is too dirty, it uses too much coal, and try to ban it. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen. I'd really hope it doesn't happen. And again, I'm pretty heavily invested in crypto. I highly doubt it will happen, but just the fear of that will be enough to cause the market to plummet. Now, of course, if you've got your own private key, they can't completely ban it, but if the government does come out there and officially ban it, then the price will plummet whether you can still use it or not. So again, everyone, that's just my thoughts and my opinion on what I think is the biggest risk for Bitcoin is regulation about this renewable energy. And I think there's too much hopium in Bitcoin and these altcoins with all these YouTubers pumping these altcoins. Now, again, I like crypto. I'm invested in crypto. I've made some great money, but then I've also sold out when we're at the top a couple months ago. Not all of it, but I just took some profits. And that's something you should always do, because remember, nobody goes broke taking profits. So what can we do about this? Well, if you're heavily invested in just Bitcoin, maybe you want to diversify into like precious metals and commodities, real hard assets. Now, I'm not going to be selling all my Bitcoin. I still believe in it long term. I think this may just be some short term FUD, but I am still, again, worried about this regulation that could come. And if you're a stock guy, defensive stocks and value stocks may be a good play, because I think over the next 6 months, we could be at risk of entering into a double dip recession once all this stimulus gets taken away. So everyone, what do you think about this current cryptocurrency market sell-off? Do you think it's going to continue? Are we going to enter into a bear market? Or is this just a blip on the radar in order to take us to the moon and hitting that $100,000 Bitcoin? Let me know. And for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. If you haven't already, please tap that like and subscribe button. I'll keep you up to date with the latest that's happening in the stock market, the housing market, cryptocurrency market, and global finance news. If you're bored, I'll put some of my other videos here. I'll see you there.